University of Missouri St. Louis College of Education podcast. Hello and welcome. My name is David Stouffer and I get to be the recruitment coordinator for the UMSL College of Education. Each week on this podcast, we will meet an innovator in the field of education. We will spend some time getting to know them and learning about their work and how it can help you and yours. It is my sincere hope that this podcast will be a source of encouragement and support as you work to continue impacting lives as an educator. My guest today is Karen Allman. Karen currently serves as the Student Success and Retention Coordinator for the UMSL College of Education. Karen's undergraduate degrees from the University of Missouri-Columbia include a dual Bachelor of Arts in English and German and a Bachelor of Science in Education in Secondary Language Arts. She has a Master of Arts in German Literature and a Master of Education in Education Psychology. Karen will begin pursuing her education doctorate this August. Karen's favorite part about her work as the Student Success and Retention Coordinator is the opportunity to spend one-on-one time getting to know our College of Education students. Welcome, Karen Allman, to Triton Talk.
Hi, and thank you.
We've known each other for a long time, so I'm very excited that you get a chance to join me here today and the great work you do with the College of Education. Share a little bit about your professional background, what brought you to UMSL and your current role as the Student Success and Retention Coordinator.
Well, I would describe my professional background as having been a bit of a drifter. I knew very early on in my own college experience back in the 1980s that I really loved the academic culture. With the education degree and also with my first TA-ship as a graduate student, I figured out pretty quickly that I didn't want to be in a classroom, but at that time there really wasn't much of a staff community in higher education, and as soon as I figured out I wasn't going to do a PhD, I was sort of left looking for something to do. The market for German professors at that time is rather limited, as it still is, and my husband and I wanted to be home in St. Louis, where we were from. So I was lucky enough to make a couple connections and get a job in publishing as a medical copy editor. Took a couple years off to raise kids when they were small, and then as soon as possible I had to go back to work, and I freelanced for a long time. Through all of that, and dating all the way back to high school, I have a long history with youth and youth leadership development, both through the American Youth Foundation, where I was for a couple years a co-director of the National Leadership Conference, and also through Girl Scouts, where I was a volunteer, served on their adventure staff, and also had a troop of my own for a lot of years. So I have a long history besides the publishing in just youth development and helping people be their best.
I'm trying to picture you with the Girl Scout outfit with all the young girls and
you know, I never really had a uniform. I wore my pins.
Okay, good.
But we had a great time. The girls are now mostly graduated from college, some still finishing up, and all doing pretty well.
Fantastic.
And they stayed with it more or less all the way through high school. So how I came to UMSL is sort of an accident. If it's possible to lay off a freelancer, the publishing industry changed, and it just really wasn't workable for me anymore, and I needed a job. So I have a sister-in-law who's on faculty in the College of Education, and she knew that they needed some part-time help in the front office. And then I guess it's just a roller coaster from there. I have a lot of really fantastic supervisors and mentors to thank who have enabled me to actually resurrect the role of retention coordinator and sort of form it to be my own.
You clearly have developed academically a pathway that leads you right to where you are with your, I guess, 3 bachelor's degrees, English, German,
Sort of.
and education?
Yeah, it was an accident. I basically collected some of the others on the way to education because I kind of knew all along, or probably had I thought about it, would have known that education wasn't really what I was suited for.
Sure.
To be in a classroom. I think at the time I just wasn't mature enough
Oh, sure.
to do that.
And then you have the master's in German literature. Tell me about that.
Well, I mean, graduate school is an alternate reality for everybody. And I had spent a year as an undergraduate abroad in Germany. My dad's from Germany. And, this at the time seemed like a way to continue in academia.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great for 2 years. We were in North Carolina in Chapel Hill. And I had 8 classmates with me all working on it at the same time. It was a program that the master's was a stepping stone to the PhD. And I think 2 of us actually finished. Most of us realized fairly quickly that it's a very tight market for German professors, and you go where the job is.
Mm-hmm.
And it really just ended up not being suited for most of us, but we had a great time while
Sure.
we were doing it.
Chapel Hill, is that Tar Heels country?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes, and I tell people I have a degree in coffee table conversation, and my German now is very rusty.
Okay, that's good. Well, and so you completed your education psychology
Yes.
master's degree, and now you're working on your education doctorate, or getting ready
Yes.
to start your
Yes.
education doctorate. Does that start this fall?
Yes, it does. I'm very excited.
Fantastic.
I had forgotten until I got back to that educational psych degree that I really love being a student. I like the
Mhm.
research, I like the writing, I
Mhm.
like having classmates. So a lot of this it's purely for me. I'm at a point when I can do it for me. I know it's going to help me in my job, and I know it's going to help me serve our students better. But at the same time, there's a lot of personal satisfaction just to say this is something I did.
Sure. It's good that you like it. It makes sense that you like it because you've done a lot of it and you have a long ways to go, but I'm sure it'll be a wonderful experience
I
for
am
you.
under no illusion that it won't be stressful. I'm expecting that, and you can expect to see very little of me probably
Great.
over the next 3 years.
That's right. And then we'll call you Dr. Allman.
Maybe, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, I mean, you
I
might still
think
just
so.
call me Karen.
Karen, you
Yes.
clearly have a passion for working with students and helping guide them through the challenges they face as your role as the Student Success and Retention Coordinator in the College of Ed. Where does that passion come from? What about you, your current role, and obviously your academic pursuits motivate you to want to help and support students the way you do?
I think a foundational experience for me, not only did I work for the American Youth Foundation with their National Leadership Conference, I'm a graduate of that conference, and I think that really instilled in me a desire to put good into the world. And this very luckily happens to be a way that I can combine my special talents to connect with students and not only make a difference, I believe wholeheartedly in UMSL Transforms Lives, but to empower them to make a difference, to go out and transform other people's lives. And so this sort of is the way that I've found to do that.
Mhm. How did you get to the point where you realized that's what you wanted to do? Because obviously you thought you were going to do some different things before. How did you get to the point, and was there an epiphany that you came to a point in your life where my role is to help and support others, and especially in an academic setting?
Partially I've always done that through the volunteer work, but I would say somewhere within the last 10, 15 years, while I was doing that freelancing before it really came to a stop, I realized that what I really wanted to do was something that was beneficial to somebody.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you certainly are.
Yeah,
Yes, definitely
and
are.
it was really a lucky break that
Mhm.
it happened this way, because this is not what I expected. I started this part-time job thinking, okay, maybe this is going to be a foot in the door and I'll get to do something. And almost from day one, I was tasked with helping students succeed.
Mhm. And you've really sort of pioneered this position, right? There's not a lot of student success and retention coordinators at UMSL or at any college that
Yes
I'm
and
aware
no.
of.
I have learned within the last few months that every college at one point had a retention coordinator
Mhm.
here at UMSL. Right now, there are 2 of us on campus. There's me, and then there's also a similar position, also a student success and retention coordinator over in the College of Nursing.
Okay.
Belinda Roberts, and you may want to at some point have her over
Sure.
here too.
Sure. Well, I think we need a position like this in every college, so hopefully that'll happen one day, but you're indispensable in the College of Ed, so we're grateful that you're part of our team. What do students need to do to be successful today? How does UMSL help provide those needed supports for our students? That's a very loaded question, I realize.
That is a loaded question.
Students need a lot, but the student of today is so different than the students of the past. What do students today need to be successful?
And I have multi-parts to that answer. I will say first that I love our students, and on a daily basis, I see evidence of the drive and the determination that helps them get through. And I love being able to be one of those connections. It makes me want to work harder for our students when I see how hard they work. In terms of what they need, when you think back over the past 25 years, students today, if you start with maybe 9/11 and then let's see what was next. Then we had a recession, and I know my family was hit kind of hard by that, so I'm sure there are others out there who have been through that as well. And then we have, the age of protests. We have wars going on. We've had a pandemic. We have had just so many things that our young people have to deal with. I think the most important thing that UMSL students or any student really needs right now is a really strong sense of themselves and how to manage themselves and recognize their strengths and then believe in what they have. Essentially what any student needs to do is find their why. Why are they here? What are they doing? We've talked a little bit about finding my why. I think that's a big part of what students need. I also think that we're really lucky because UMSL takes a very holistic approach to student success, and we have so many resources here to help students with finding their why and finding their strengths. And if I could encourage students to anything, it would be take advantage of those resources and believe in yourself.
How does UMSL do as a whole in helping support students and what they need? I know you do that specifically in your role, but do we do a good job at UMSL in providing those supports that are needed to help students be successful?
I think so. As evidenced by our graduation numbers, I was just working with the list of people graduating this summer, and I had to sort of call out our education students, but it was a long, long list full of graduate students, and these are the people who had RSVP'd to walk at commencement. It was a long list. There's evidence that we put out a lot of people ready to put good into the world. I think, sort of on South Campus, we're sometimes a little bit sheltered, but when you start to learn about so many things that are here, yeah, we do have a very holistic approach. We have our academic support centers who provide a tremendous amount of coaching and tutoring and support in that area, but we also have our advocacy and care office, we have our health counseling and disability office, so we really are set up to meet almost all of our student needs. We have a great Office of Student Involvement who keeps things going, so there's a busy campus. I think we do a pretty good job.
I agree. I'm happy to hear you say that. Obviously, you're a lot more connected to that than I am, but that's one of the things that I've been really impressed by is how much UMSL really does try to have systems in place to support all students and that they have the opportunity to get those supports. I didn't know what to expect when I came from K-12, and of course the K-12 world is ingrained in supports now at every school. And I think UMSL does a great job with that. I really am impressed with how we do that. Do help and support our students that have academic needs, social emotional needs, financial needs, you name it, and we try to help out.
I would also be remiss if I didn't mention faculty at UMSL. I've had occasion, just in collaboration, helping certain students working out problems to communicate with faculty in not just our College of Ed, but other units around campus. And I think we have amazing faculty in the way they care for our students and the concern they show.
You are beginning your pursuit of your education doctorate this fall. Tell us more about that and how you'll use that in your future work and career.
Well, again, this is something that a large part of it is just for myself. Something that I'm at a place in my life and am able to afford something I can do that I love, and I do love studying. I love being a student. So I look forward to that with a little bit of trepidation because I know it's not going to be easy.
But you definitely made a career out of it, so let's be honest.
Yeah, and that's okay. That's okay. It's what I like to do.
Right.
As far as I picked the college access and career readiness and student services line of that because I know, A, that it will help me in my job, and I hope that it will maybe somehow open some doors so that I can continue the impact that I have on campus and beyond, and ways that I can continue to help our students go out into the world, be able to do good things.
Let's talk a little bit more about the College of Education experience that you've had in your graduate work. So you have your MED in Education Psychology, and you're going to spend the next 3 years, starting this fall, going through your education doctorate. What's been your experience as a graduate student? So take a step back from your role as staff. And what's been your experience as a graduate student at the College of Education here at UMSL?
Well, I was a little anxious starting up again for the first time and picking a major and figuring out what the best path would be. And that whole MED was online. I found that it was completely possible to connect with other students and with instructors online, and we still manage some working groups and some Zoom meetings, things like that. In the interim, I've been taking some higher ed classes, and those classes are asynchronous online, and that's been fabulous because you really do get a sense of community, and I'm looking forward to having a cohort to go through with. One thing that's changed tremendously since the last time I was a student is that I no longer have to spend all my spare money copying entire chapters and articles out of books because everything is there online and research is easy to get in depth with because it's all right there.
Right. That is convenient.
I found that kind of exciting. Nice. I was reluctant at first, and everybody, when I was working on that first master's degree, everybody was very, very skeptical of the internet and that it would ever be anything academic. And it's really
was
fun.
Your education psychology master's degree fully online?
Yes.
How was that in comparison to your experiences that I'm sure you had, as we all did, with the traditional approach of driving to campus, going to classes, sitting in classrooms? How was that experience for you and that shift?
Well, other than 30-some years as well. I'm on campus every day almost, so I don't miss that part of it. I liked being able to sit down. For me, where I am in my life, it was a really good thing. It was being entirely online. I was able to kind of log on when I needed to and do the work as I needed. I was able to work ahead. Again, instructors are very forgiving. If I found I was going to be late with something, it was send an email and say I may be a day or two late, but I kind of enjoyed it. I found it worked really well.
Were they able to embed collaborative work among the students in an online class? How does that work?
Usually you either get put into or you form a small group, and there have been a lot of PowerPoint presentations, a little bit of collective research, a couple of collective papers.
So would you meet in person with these subgroups, or would you just get on Zoom and do virtual meetings, or both?
Mostly it's been Zoom, but I did write a paper with another staff member here, and we met in person to do it as well.
Okay. And now the doctoral program that you're going to be involved in, is that also a fully online program? But it's a cohort, right? You're in a 3-year program with a group of students following each other the entire way, right?
Yes.
And what do you expect to, now you've had the experience as a master's student, do you have any idea what to expect as a doctoral student?
I think I've already told you more than I know.
Well, that is because we know the college is that, obviously.
Yes. I know that Dr. Woodhouse, who's going to be coordinating this program, is fabulous.
Mhm.
And I know, from observing others and just by the fact that it is a doctorate degree, that it's going to require a lot of time and it's going to be intense. But beyond that, no, I don't really know exactly what to expect.
Well, I want to give you a chance to finish our conversation by just sharing anything else you want to talk about your background, your work, your future. The mic is yours. Take it away.
Oh my. I don't know what the future holds. I'm very happy where I am right now, and that's the plan, to keep on working with our students and keep on working with the data that involves retention. But by far, if I had to choose between the students and the data, I would choose the students. Let's see, if I could tell the students anything, I think I would reiterate, find your why. Find your strengths, find what you're good at, find your sense of self, and learn how to manage that sense. Don't be afraid of mistakes, don't be afraid of change. Learn to sit with the stress and overcome it, and don't pass up any opportunity.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Karen Allman. I appreciate the work you do. I appreciate your passion for supporting students. We need more like you that really can help the students find success. And I appreciate your work, and I thank you for being on Triton Talk.
You know what? We're all over this campus, people like me. So thank you so much.
I am honored that you chose to join me today for the University of Missouri St. Louis College of Education podcast. I hope you'll join me next time. Till then, I'm David Stouffer. Thank you for the work you do. Never forget, you are making a difference every day.